Hey everyone, it is Elise Cabaret here from Dawter, here to help you write and record the songs of tomorrow. In this video, I want to talk to you about something I get asked about a lot, which is how to write happy songs. It sounds silly, but a lot of the time as singer-songwriters, we tend to use, we'll learn to write songs on guitar or piano, and we naturally are inclined to write sad, deep, emotional songs, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. Except sometimes when we want to play a live gig, and if you're anything like me, you start getting through your set and realize that it's actually really depressing, which again, there's nothing wrong with, but sometimes it'd be nice to have a happier, more up vibe song in there so you can bring the mood up again, or at least have that in your repertoire. So that's what we're focusing on today. I'm gonna analyze 5 super happy songs that I really love, try and figure out what's going on in those, and then apply what I learn to writing an actual song at the end of this video. And hopefully by watching that process, you can take home some really good key takeaways that you can use to write happy songs next time you're songwriting. Sound good? Awesome. But before we get into it, I wanted to take a moment to talk to you about something. So I've actually got my own online course. It's called the Song Prescription, and I'm actually running a promo on that at the moment. So this course is a 7-module course. It's all online, and it's designed to help you heal through songwriting. And what that means is it's got a very strong mental health focus. So if you're someone who is like me and really struggles with perfectionism and self-doubt, and that's getting in the way of your songwriting, this course is going to really help you move through a lot of those mental blocks. And it's also really good if you're someone who is maybe struggling with some stuff and wanting to use songwriting as a tool to express yourself. So if this sounds like it's something that could be good for you, then I strongly encourage you to click the link in the description. I'm running a promotion on that at the moment. It normally sells for $4.97. I'm actually offering it to the next 20 people for just $97. So that's over 80% off. Now, as I said, I'm only offering this to the next 20 people who sign up. So that is a very strictly limited time offer. So if you think you'd like to give it a go, click the link in the description. All right, so that said, let's get back to the video. The songs I'm going to be analyzing today are the happiest of the happy. So to begin with, we've got, of course, Happy by Pharrell Williams, Uptown Funk by Ronson and Bruno Mars, I'm Yours, the Jason Mraz version, All About That Bass by Meghan Trainor, and last but not least, Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. That's a pretty fun list, right? To get started analyzing these songs, I wanted to look at the foundations. So I started with the tempo, how quick the song is, how many beats per minute it is. Now, I was expecting all of these songs to be super fast, or at least maybe not super fast, but fast, because they are also high in energy. But I was really surprised by the results. You can see in this list now that the tempos aren't actually as fast as I would have expected. In fact, Happy by Pharrell Williams is just 79 beats per minute. That's really slow. Most of the songs were around 130 to 150, and none of them surpassed 200. The next thing I looked at was the key. And I don't know if you've ever learned much about music theory, you will have probably heard that major equals happy and minor equals sad. So going in, I assumed that all of these songs were going to be in major keys, but that was not the case. What I found was actually 2 out of the 5 songs were written in minor keys. So once again, Happy by Pharrell Williams was actually written in F minor, so defying conventions again. And Uptown Funk is in D minor. Already this analysis is defying my expectations, so I can't wait to dive in a little bit deeper and see what else is going on in these songs. When we listen to each of these songs back to back, there is one thing that is really stands above all else. And this is something that I would put under the heading of spotlight. If you know anything about my song blueprints, I've got a video on that. Spotlight is where we try and look at what the most important part of the song is. So what the songwriter is trying to get the audience to pay attention to. A lot of the time that could be the melody, it could be the lyrics, but in all of these cases, it's actually the groove. Just listen to that drum groove. You just want to move to it. Huge drums. Now you might notice in this song, there's no drums, at least not yet, but it's really groovy. So that's all of the strumming pattern of that little uke. And also the groove is in the vocal melody, which we're going to talk about later.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all
Again,
about that
not
bass,
no drums, but we've got a very rhythmic vocal part. You hear the drums come in?
I ain't no size two, but I can shake it
very groovy.
like I'm supposed to do. 'Cause I got that boom boom that all the boys chase.
Having a good time, shooting star moving through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm racing.
Hear those drums? And lots of energy in this vocal. Piano. Yeah. Especially this next bit. So you might notice in all of these songs, it is impossible not to move. There's just so much energy, and so they're really vibey and groovy, and you just can't help but want to dance. It engages that part of the brain that's just making you want to move. It puts you in a good mood immediately. Now, there's a bunch of brain science about this actually, which is in my online course. Just a little shout out there. So there's scientific reasons for why these songs are having this effect on us, but I'm not going to go into too much detail about that right now. That might be for another video. But at the moment, the key takeaway is to know the focus, the spotlight of these songs is on the groove. So not the lyrics, not the melody, the groove, the rhythm that's going on. All right, so we understand that groove is super important to writing happy songs, but it isn't the whole story. The other half of the story is the vocal hooks. So you'll notice that in all of these songs, they're really singable. When you listen to them, you not only want to dance, you want to sing along. A too high, damn. You can't help yourself, right? So I want to answer some questions about what's actually going on here. Why are these hooks so damn catchy? And how can we replicate that in our own songwriting? The first thing I want you to pay attention to is note length. All of these songs, the vocal melodies use very, very short notes. And what this does is it makes the melodies more rhythmic. Rhythm equals catchy. So let me show you some examples.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
Note length. Da 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 da. Really short. And when we get to the chorus,
Because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like happiness is the truth.
da 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 da.
Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Got a police and a fireman. I'm too hot. Like a dragon, wanna retire, man. I'm too hot.
Da 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 da. Really short notes.
Well, you done me in your bed, I felt it. I tried to beat you, but you're so hot that I melted.
Da 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 da.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that.
Da 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 da.
I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic body.
Da 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 da.
I'm having such a good time.
God, I love that song. Do you see what I mean? All the notes in all these melodies, well, not all the notes because they have to use some contrast, but generally speaking, All these hooks are built from very, very short staccato-y notes. So that's our first tip. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the actual pitches in these hooks and the fact that a lot of them use repeated pitches. And I'll show you, to show you what I mean, I'm gonna get my camera and show you my piano. So what I wanted to show you is the pitches that are getting used in these melodies, or more specifically, the amount of pitches that get repeated and how that can affect the melody and make it more catchy. So a great example of this is Happy. Let me just play the vocal hook for the chorus. We got 2 notes and most of them are F. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. In Uptown Funk, I think it's an F again. Uptown Funk, gon' give it to ya. Uptown Funk, gon' give it to ya. Saturday night and we in the spot. There's a lot of F notes in that, right? It's crazy. You can create this insanely successful, catchy melody by just hitting this one. It's all about that rhythm. Da 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 da. Super rhythmic, and that is highlighted by the fact we're only using that single note. The last example I want to show you is all about that bass, which uses a nice mix between single note melodies and melodic melodies. So I'm going to show you. In the chorus, it's very single notey, so have a listen.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble.
So we can hear that da na 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 is very single notey, right? And that's really accentuating the rhythm there. Da na 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 na. Now she also uses a lot of one note melodies in her verses, but interestingly, she contrasts these single note lines with very melodic lines. So have a listen.
All the right junk in all the right places. I see the magazine working out Photoshop. We know that shit ain't real. Come on now, make it stop. If you got beauty, just raise them up. 'Cause every inch of you is perfect from the bottom to the top. Yeah.
So you can hear how most of those phrases used single notes, especially in that last line. If you got beauty, just raise them up, is all this B note here. If you got beauty. But then she goes, 'cause every inch of you is perfect from the bottom to the top, which is da 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 da. Lots of movement in that line there. So you can see how she's contrasting between the two, the very single note and the very melodic. And using this contrast actually makes both types of melodies stand out even better. Okay, so we've covered groove and we've covered melody. Now let's have a little look at the chords that are being used. Now you can see all the chord progressions on this chart right here. As I mentioned before, there are 2 minor keys in here, which was quite surprising. But on that note, I would like to point out the amount of minor chords that are being used as well. So you can see in Happy, we've got the 2 C minor chords there, and I've just simplified this because I know that piano part gets quite complex, but you can play just the C minor without the extensions and it sounds like the song still. So it's definitely got a lot of minor quality to this progression. But I also want to bring your attention to Don't Stop Me Now. And I looked at the verse progression for this rather than the chorus. And the reason was I felt the verse progression, it's so driving. It's moving forward. There's so much energy. It's propelling you forward through this song. So I wanted to understand what was happening with the chords that are creating that feeling. So our chord progression is F major, A minor, D minor, G minor, and C major. So you've got 3 minor chords in there. But the song sounds pretty damn happy, doesn't it? Now I'd like to point out that this song actually uses the 2-5-1 progression, which is really, really popular in jazz music and a lot of contemporary as well. So the last 2 chords are the G minor and C, and that rolls into the F, which is the start of the progression. So you're going 2, 5, 1. And that 2, 5 is setting up a lot of tension because we know the 5 chord really wants to go to the 1 chord. And that is part of what's propelling this progression forward and creating that energy that I was talking about. So 2, 5, 1 is excellent in happy songs. The last thing I want to look at before we move on to putting all of this into practice is the lyrics. Now, I know at the start of this video, I talked about where the spotlight was and that the spotlight is very much on the groove for these songs and not so much on the lyrics. But that's not to say the lyrics don't matter. Now, when I had a look at the lyrics for these songs, one of the main things I noticed is that they're all about feeling good. They're saying, I'm great, I'm confident, I'm hot, I'm awesome, look at me. So Uptown Funk, I'm too hot, hot damn, call the police and the fireman, too hot. That's really fun to sing. So when we sing that, we're feeling, I'm too hot damn. I feel awesome singing that line. In Happy, we've got the line, I'm happy, which runs underneath that chorus. And then we've got the clap along if you feel like a room without a roof, which is where it starts to show you that the lyrics are less important because that doesn't really make sense. But it doesn't matter because the feeling is there. We know what he means. For Don't Stop Me Now, we've got Don't Stop Me Now because I'm having a good time. I'm having a ball. That is fun to sing. I'm having a good time, having a good time. Yeah, I feel good singing that. For All About That Bass, this song is actually super uplifting and body positive. So that's really talking about getting people to feel confident in their bodies and celebrating different body types. So this chorus is, I'm all about that bass, no treble, which is a really cool little metaphor there. Lastly, we've got I'm Yours, which is a little bit different to the rest of them because this is more of a love song, but it is, again, fitting into that category of feeling awesome because he's declaring his love. I'm yours. I love you. So once again, super positive to sing along to. If you're singing along to the song, you're going to feel really good about yourself. So to summarize, before we move on to the songwriting part of this video, there were a couple of surprises in this analysis. That was the fact that the tempos weren't actually that quick and we had a couple of minor keys and lots of minor chords. So minor is totally on the table for happy songs. And the main points about what to do when writing a song are, of course, focusing on that strong groove, whether that's with the drum and bass part or whether that's with our guitar strumming pattern. For our melodies, we want to keep the notes nice and short, little staccato melodies, and don't be afraid to use single note melodies as well. And we want to make sure our lyrics, especially our hook line, is all about feeling good. It's going to be a line that our listeners, when they're singing along to the song, it's going to make them feel good when they sing those lines. So I'm going to take each of these things that I've learned and try and write a song that uses each of these things, and hopefully it's going to sound super happy. That's the plan anyway. Wish me luck. Nice little short note melody. It's like a verse melody, I think. That's good, I like it. Bye. So hopefully from this video you can see that it is quite easy to write songs that are really happy and upbeat, just as long as we keep a few principles in mind. So try this out yourself in your own songwriting. Make sure you try and write something that's got a bit of groove to it, a bit of energy, lots of rhythm, whether you're just playing on guitar and strumming, or whether you've got access to drums or bass or any of those, like a rhythm section, that's going to really help you out as well. Also, when writing your melodies, writing your hooks, try and keep the notes really short and rhythmic. That's really going to help them be catchy and vibey. And writing one note melodies here works really well as well. And obviously your hook line, so whatever your lyrics are saying, wants to be fun and singable. So it's something that you want people to feel good when they sing. So that's it. That's my top tips for how to write a happy song. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, please like and subscribe. I'm really trying to grow this channel at the moment, so that really helps me out. Yeah, we're only small at the moment, but hopefully big things for this channel in the future. All right, that's it from me today. I hope you have a wonderful week. My name's Elise Cabre, and happy songwriting.